Hey, Freedom Family, good to see you guys again. So we're going to be talking today about encouraging people, right? Encouraging people. It's our community. It's the people we work with. They're all part of our community. But really, we're talking about encouraging people around you every day. Family, friends, coworkers, your world, the world that God has placed you in that only you can impact, okay? We're talking about encouraging those people. So I want to tell you a brief story to get there, right? When I was 11 years old, my father suddenly passed of a heart attack. It was devastating. As anyone would be as a little kid, you lose your dad. I mean, some of you have been through that. It's really, really hard. Well, as I grew older into my teenage years, which were pretty rough, I remembered my dad. I remember the things about my dad, not my dad, the man. I didn't get to know him as the person. I just had these mental images of who my dad was, how he dressed, the way he was respected, the fact that he was a Christian businessman. I had all these snapshots and these things I wanted to do to be like my dad, but I really didn't know how to get there. And when I began to have kids of my own, those images were still in my mind. I still wanted to be a father like my father was, but the problem is that I didn't know how to do it because I didn't really know what kind of father my father was. I just knew these basic things about my dad. As the Lord began to develop me, I realized that in order to be able to be a good father, I had to receive fathership from a father. I had to receive sonship from a father. I had to be trained. I couldn't give somebody something I myself did not have. So in order to be a good father, I had to learn to be a good son. Now you may say, okay, that's a cool story, Trevor. What does that have to do with encouraging communities and people and my loved ones? Okay, the principle is this. We can't give something if we don't have it to give, right? It's impossible for me to give you $1 million because I don't have $1 million. But if I have something that I can give to you, I can feed you. I can give you some ice cream. I can give you maybe $10. I got those things I have. John 15:4 talks about a concept that's called abiding. Now, abiding may sound like a difficult concept. In fact, you may have read about it. You may read about it today and you may think, wow, this is a difficult concept to understand. It really is, but it's also a key in being able to encourage people. What is abiding? How does it connect? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. First of all, abiding means three things. It means connection, it means dependence, and it means continuance. We connect with God, we depend on God, and we stay connected to God. If we do those three things, which sound really nice and simple, then we will be able to treat others the way that they need to be treated by you through the Holy Spirit to connect them to God so that they can then abide and the cycle can continue. Now, Jesus was the perfect example of life led by the Holy Spirit. There's a lot of theology about Jesus' life and the miracles he performed. And there's some debate about that, but I don't want to get into that. What I want to talk about is that Jesus did every miracle through the power of the Holy Spirit. He was a perfect example of abiding. He said, I abide in the Father, and the Father wants to abide in you. And when Jesus talks about greater works will we do, that's all about this abiding concept. So let's say that you are at work, and let's say that you run into that coworker, you know the one that challenges you, the one that makes you think, today's a day I'm gonna lose my salvation. But you don't, because you're better than that, But let's say you run into them and you're already having a rough morning. Maybe you had a flat tire. Maybe it's rained for the 1,000th day in a row, right? And you're just kind of gloomy. And they come at you and make you feel in a way that you don't like the way you feel. A life led by the Spirit and a person who's abiding and they're connected and depending and they're continuing with Jesus, it's going to be easier to respond the way that he wants us to respond. It may be a small thing, it may be a big thing, but don't forget, guys, we have to remember this. There's a chance that for a person that's hard to be around, you might be the only person in their life that is a Jesus follower. And so the responsibility is on us to represent Jesus in the right way. That doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you're perfect. In fact, one of the best things you can do is to make a mistake and then say, hey, I blew it. I'm so sorry I did that. Will you please forgive me? Because now you're more humanized to that person. So that's just a quick example of the abiding concept. It's way deeper than that. But guys, be encouraged today. We can do this. It's one day at a time. We want to abide in the Lord, and He will meet you where you are. You don't have to figure it all out today. Step one, Lord, am I abiding in you? Do I have your love to give? And if not, show me where I need to grow. Guys, I love you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll talk to y'all soon.